everybody and welcome back to my channel. Now in today's video I'm going to be doing a full face of first impressions of e.l.f. makeup. Now e.l.f. makeup is fairly new to the UK. It's now arrived in Superdrug online and Superdrug stores, so it's really exciting to give this a go for you guys, so you guys know what kind of to go for and what not to go for. So as you can see now I've got a full face of e.l.f. products. I really like how this makeup look turned out, so if you'd like to see my first impressions and also a kind of review at the end of the day to how well the products lasted throughout the day, then just keep watching. So I'm going to start off by applying primer. Now I went for the mineral infused face primer because this is supposed to be the best one for sort of oily skin. So for me this makeup may work quite different to people who don't have oily skin, but I'm going to give it a go and see how it works. So it's got a very kind of gel-like consistency, which personally I quite like in a primer. I find they're always quite pore filling and they do work quite well to mattify the face. So that feels super smoothing on the face. Obviously there's not much I can say about it right now because primer is more about kind of prolonging your makeup wear and keeping it on throughout the day. So moving on to foundation, I got the Flawless Finish foundation in the shade Porcelain. Okay, now that I've pumped it out on my hand, I'm thinking this is super light because I actually do have fake tan on at the moment. Okay, this is definitely too pale. I don't know how much I'm gonna need. I think I put too much on my hand. So this foundation is supposed to be oil free, so it's supposed to be good for kind of more oily skin types, which is why I went for this one. They do also have more of like a natural finish one, which is more of like a dewy finish, but obviously because I've got oily skin I wanted to go for the one that's going to keep me shine free. I think that's about as blended as it's going to get with this a brush, so I'm just going to go over with my sponge. But considering this is their palest shade, like I don't know whether this would work for me if I didn't have fake tan on. I feel like it might be a little bit too dark. So that is actually applied really nicely. It's blended in really well as well. I would definitely say that's a light coverage and definitely nothing more than a light coverage. It does definitely feel light on my skin like the packaging does say, and it does have SPF 15 in it too, which is great. It says it's got a semi-matte finish. I would definitely agree with that. I feel like it's more kind of on the dewy side than on the matte side, so hopefully this will work for me, but fingers crossed it will keep me matte throughout the whole day. So next I've got their Perfect Blend concealer, and this is in the shade Light Beige, but I'm not gonna lie, this does look quite dark, so I don't know whether this is gonna work for kind of highlighting or not, but let's give it a go. Okay, this definitely isn't gonna highlight my face at all. Let's just hope that it gives me some sort of coverage. I'm not applying a huge amount though because I don't want this to be like a really heavy coverage makeup look because I am doing my everyday sort of thing, so I'm not a huge fan of that concealer. I don't feel like it's given me any coverage whatsoever, but if this is light enough for your skin tone it could work really well for highlighting. I am just going to go in and apply a little bit of my normal concealer just to kind of balance out the kind of tones of my face, because now my under eyes look darker than the rest of my face, which is obviously not all we want to happen. So next I'm going to set my face with the translucent setting powder. Now when I open this up I was a bit worried because this doesn't look translucent to me at all. As you can see there definitely is colour in this powder. This is like a little sponge that you apply it with. I am going to try and apply it with the little sponge that it comes with, but hopefully this doesn't cake up too much with this sponge. Okay, I'm not particularly liking this sponge. I feel like it's just applying way too much product, whereas I just kind of want a light dusting just to kind of mattify everything on my face. Okay, so that powder did actually do a really good job at mattifying my face. I do, however, feel like my skin is starting to look a little bit cakey. I feel like that powder's quite heavy on the face, and I feel like if you're paler than me, then maybe this shade wouldn't work for you because I feel like it does have a bit of colour to it, therefore it does kind of transfer onto the skin. So I don't usually contour on an everyday basis, but I do actually have one of their contour palettes, so I'm going to be giving this a go. I'm going to be trying to be contouring with maybe these two bottom shades here. I only want a very light contour. I'm not going in heavy-handed at all. So I've just picked up just that dark shade because it's not as dark as I originally thought it was going to be, and it's working quite well actually. So I'm just applying a little bit on the temples as well. I'm not going too crazy with this contour. I would say that that contour worked pretty well. To be fair, I kind of got other contour kits that I prefer. I feel like I prefer the Barry M Chisel Cheeks contour kit. I feel like the colour just works a little bit better for me. But it did work really well. It blended really well. It's just, I don't think it's my favourite. I am just going to be going in with some of this light powder shade and trying to be putting this underneath my eyes just to see if it will work to brighten that area at all. That's quite a nice powder actually. I feel like it did definitely kind of brighten the area and kind of lift up the cheekbones a little bit here. I'm not going to be using this highlight today because I have actually got another one, but I will just apply a little bit on my cheekbone just to see what it's like, because I don't know whether this is going to be shimmery or whether it's going to be matte. Okay, so this is like a mix between a matte and a shimmery highlight. It's really not like a blinding highlight or anything like that. It's definitely more of a natural one. I feel like it more just kind of lifts the area rather than actually bringing some sort of like shimmer to it. I picked up the contouring blush and bronzer powder. The bronzer does look very nice. It looks quite a cool tone for a bronzer, but I'll give it a go and let you know what I think. Okay, this bronzer is definitely very warm toned. In the pan, it just doesn't look it. I feel like I've just applied way too much to my face. You don't need a lot, it's super pigmented. Even like using a light hand on that side, I've just applied way too much again. Okay, for the forehead, I don't feel like it works so bad, but I feel like this and the contour, I feel like is a bit too much. Okay, so I've just tried to like dull it down, and I do feel like that looks a lot better. This isn't my favourite bronzer. I just feel like for me, my skin tone, it's way too dark. I think if I had a serious tan going on, then maybe this could work. I'm now just going to give the blusher a go, which does look really, really nice. I'm really excited to give this a go because it looks like it's got a nice bit of shimmer in there as well. So I'm just applying it to my cheekbones. I'm doing a very light hand because this is really pigmented. Okay, I really, really like this blusher just because it's not too pink. I feel like it blends really, really well into the bronzer, and it doesn't look too like harsh on my face or anything like that. So yeah, it does look really nice and add a really nice bit of colour to your cheeks. So this is the only product that I've actually tried before filming this video, and this is this e.l.f. highlighter in the shade Moonlight Pearls. I tried this in my summer makeup routine and I fell in love with it ever since. It's such a gorgeous highlight. As you can see, I feel like it's definitely a dupe for the MAC Soft and Gentle highlighter. So I'm just going to go ahead and start applying this to my cheekbones. It's so nice. I feel like it just meshes into the skin so well. This is definitely one of my favourite products so far. And then I'm just going to be applying some to my brow bone and the Cupid's bow. Okay, so I am going to go off camera now and do my brows. I didn't pick up a brow product just because all of the brow products they have were way too warm toned for my brows. I do have quite kind of ashy toned eyebrows, so I knew that none of the products were going to work for me. So I've just gone ahead and done my eyebrows, and now I'm going to be moving on to eyeshadow. So I picked up this clay eyeshadow palette, and this is in the shade Necessary Nudes. Now I picked this one up because there was another one which was like a pinky purpley palette, but personally for me, nudes are more of like my go-to eyeshadow kind of colour. It'd be tempting to create a kind of like subtle everyday smoky eye with these shades, so I'm really excited to give this a go. So I'm going to start off by applying the kind of lightest shade just here into my crease. I feel like it is adding a little bit of depth to my eyes. So next I'm going to be going in with that darkest shade and applying a light amount of this because I don't want to go too heavy-handed. This eyeshadow is kind of really nicely pigmented as well. I feel like this is a nice size palette to just kind of shove in your handbag. Okay, so I'm really, really liking how that's looking so far. I'm now just going to add a little bit of that shade to the bottom eyelashes as well. So I know I look a bit crazy, but I'm just going to go in with a fluffy brush and blend that all out. I really didn't want this to be too intense, but it's a bit late now. Okay, so that actually has worked really nice to give me kind of like a blown out lower lash line, which I really, really do like the look of. So now I'm going to be applying a little bit of the mixture of these two golden shades on my eyelid. I'm really hoping this is nice and pigmented. Okay, this really isn't as pigmented as it looks in the pan. In the pan it looks really nice and shimmery, but this is definitely more of like a natural shimmer, and as you can see there is a bit of fallout as well with this shade. I might just try it with my finger and see if that works any better. Okay, so it's slightly more pigmented with my finger, but to be honest, not much different. Them eyeshadows did work really well. I do feel like the matte shades work a lot better than the shimmery ones. The shimmery ones just really weren't that shimmery. I am just going to be adding a little bit of that highlighter shade in that eyeshadow palette to the inner corner, just to kind of brighten it up, and also the inner part of the eyelid as well, because I feel like it's looking quite dark at the minute. Okay, so I feel like that's worked well to kind of bring a bit of light to the inner corner to kind of open up my eyes a bit. I completely forgot that I've got this lip exfoliator, which I probably should be using now rather than later, because obviously I need to use it before I apply my lipstick. So I'm just going to go ahead and quickly, if I can get it out of the box, apply this lip exfoliator. Oh, it smells amazing, and it definitely is a kind of really hard scrub. This smells so good. Okay, that's definitely worked really well to kind of soften my lips. I do really love that product. It reminds me of the kind of Lush lip scrubs you get in those little pots, but I find they can be quite messy, so it's kind of nice that it's on like a lipstick tube rather than in like a little pot. So moving on to mascara, I picked up the mineral infused mascara because this actually had one of the best reviews than the rest of the products online, so I thought I'd get the one that people kind of like the most. And also I personally liked the look of the brush with this one the most as well. It looks like kind of the brush that I typically go for in a mascara, so it's kind of like a basic wand, just like your basic mascara wand. Hopefully it does the job. I find most mascaras actually work for me because I have quite long eyelashes anyway, but hopefully this will give me kind of like a volumized look. Okay, so there definitely isn't going to be any clumpy lashes today. This is definitely a very separating mascara, so I would say that if you're kind of looking for more of a natural mascara to wear on an everyday basis, and this is definitely a mascara for you, because it literally doesn't look like I'm wearing mascara, because it's so separating that it just makes my eyelashes look more black. Obviously as I'm applying more coats you can tell I've got it on. I am going to do a couple of coats on this because I do like my eyelashes to look very long and kind of volumized, so hopefully I can achieve that look with this mascara just by building up a couple more coats than I usually would. So for me, I would definitely say that at first that's definitely more of a kind of natural mascara, but after a while you can build it up to get kind of this volumized look here. So if you want lashes to kind of look like this, then I wouldn't recommend the mascara because it does take quite a while, and there are other mascaras out there that can achieve this look a lot quicker. But for the price it works so well, and I think definitely if you want more of a natural eyelash look, then this is definitely a mascara for you. One of the matte lip colours in the shade Tea Rose. Now when you look at the packaging here, it looks like a nice pinky shade, and now I'm looking at the packaging on the actual kind of lipstick. It's more of like a purpley shade. So okay, so this is definitely more of like a purpley shade rather than a pink shade, which I'm a little bit annoyed about because the packaging makes it out to be like a pinky shade. So this wasn't the sort of colour that I expected it to be, but I actually do really like how it looks. Purple lips is normally not something I would kind of gravitate towards, but so far I'm actually really liking this lip colour. It's got a really nice formula. It's not matte, but it's not shiny at all. It's a really kind of creamy consistency. So it does feel really nice and kind of moisturising on the lips. I will check back in quite a few hours, and I will see you at the end of the day to tell you how this makeup has lasted. But I really hope you guys have enjoyed the video so far, and I will see you in a couple of hours. Bye. Hello everybody, so it's now 8 o'clock, so I've had this foundation, I've had this actually makeup on for about 10 hours now. I'm not gonna lie, throughout the day I was not liking how the foundation was looking. I found it broke up in quite a lot of areas across my face. It definitely doesn't look very nice now. Around my nose area it started to break up, around my mouth it started to also sink into the lines in my face. Don't think I would want to use that foundation again. It's also kind of broken up around my nose. I will do close-ups in a minute so you can see, but I'm just not particularly happy with how the foundation looks. I feel like it's definitely worn off my face. So for me personally, I wouldn't recommend that. I also wouldn't recommend the concealer because I didn't feel like it gave me much coverage. The powder was fairly good, but I don't know whether that's contributed to it looking a bit cakey on my face or not. So I think I'll have to give that another go and let you know in like a vlog or something whether I continue to use that powder or not. I mean, all the other products have stayed on my face really well. The contour, the highlight and the bronzer have stayed on really nicely. The mascara still looks really good. It hasn't smudged at all. The eyeshadow also still looks really good. And the lipstick, I have got a different lipstick on now because the lipstick I was wearing did wear off about after an hour or so. But it did actually tint my lips really nicely, so I'd recommend that if you want kind of like a tinting lip balm. It did work really nicely for that. Sorry the lighting isn't the greatest. The sun is glaring in my window and there's nothing much I can do until it goes down, and I can't film then because obviously it'd be way too dark. But I mean, apart from the foundation and the concealer, I would definitely recommend every single product that I used today. So yeah, I really hope you guys found this video helpful and enjoyed. Please do let me know down below if you'd like to see more full face of first impressions, and I'll be sure to film them for you guys. But yeah, thank you so much for watching. Please come give it a big thumbs up if you did enjoy, and I will see you in my next video. Bye.